Hey, St. Luke's friends, it's Catherine Ann. And guess what? It is your lucky day. Assuming I don't trip and fall, which could make this call end prematurely, you're going to go on a walk with me. It's what I love to do most during these stay-at-home days. I could walk forever. And I also have dusted off my old bike, and I've started pulling that out, which is pretty... that just brings me back, right, to being a child. That is such a freeing feeling, just to zip around the neighborhood with hardly any traffic. So in our neighborhood, we've got a lot of great big trees, which I love, and a lot of shade. Even though it's almost noon, there's still tons of shade. But the thing I love most about cruising these streets, I think there are probably 20 or 30 in all in our immediate neighborhood, and I feel like I've been down all of them 1,000 times. But the thing I like most, honestly, is just looking more closely at this place that has been around us. We've lived here for 30 years. And of course, I've always walked and been on these streets and known a lot of the people. But now I'm observing it in a different way, kind of a quiet way. It's kind of weird. I almost feel like a cross between Gladys Kravitz on Bewitched, who was always snooping on the neighbors, and a normal person somewhere in there, because I just feel like I know a lot about these people based on the fact that I walk by their house all the time. Like, I know what day their yard crews come. I know by the signs in their yard who thinks everything's going to be all right and who might not be so sure, and I also know who's supporting who in the next election. I know whose kids like to play with bubbles and whose kids like sidewalk chalk. I know where all the teddy bears and rainbows are, for sure. There are some new things now, something to do with Disney characters, maybe. I don't know. I know whose yards have disc golf thingies in them. I never knew that was a thing. My favorite time to ride my bike, though, is honestly on Sunday evenings when the grills are fired up and I kind of know what everybody's having for dinner, which is kind of an unnecessary yet fun thing to know. I kind of know which parents are working from home because you can kind of see them with their laptop on their stairs watching their kids play in the driveway. There are just so many things I have learned along the way as I have walked these streets way too many times. I really need to expand my sphere. But it's gotten me to thinking, and yesterday I heard a podcast. Y'all know I love podcasts. Some of you know this all too well because I talk about them all the time. But there's a podcast called 99% Invisible. There were two stories yesterday that really struck me. One was the story of a town in northern India in the state of Punjab. And the residents there lived within sight of the beautiful snow-covered Himalayas. Yet, because of the smog and intense air pollution, they had not been able to see the whole mountain range, the Himalayas, most of them in their lifetime. It had not been visible from this city for 30 years. Can you imagine living within sight of the Himalayas and not ever seeing them? How crazy is that? But because of the decreased commutes, of course, and the shutdowns of many industries, which of course have their own negative ramifications, for the sake of the view of the Himalayas, it has worked out really well for these people. They could not believe their eyes when they woke up a few weeks ago and they were like, wait, what? Who put the Himalayas there? So that is really amazing. The other cool story I heard on that same episode was about whale researchers. And every summer they put underwater microphones in the passageway up in Alaska, I think near Glacier Bay or in Glacier Bay. I've never been. I know a lot of you have. Anyway, what they do is they try to listen to see how whales talk to each other. But the thing they've always dealt with, of course, have been the tourist boats that come through, which make a ton of noise. So really, their research is more about how whales talk between the tourist boats, because during the tourist boats, they can't really talk much at all. So This year, when the researchers heard that the tourism industry was kind of shut down up there, the boats wouldn't be going out. At first, they thought, oh, shoot, we can't do our research. And then somebody else said, whoa, wait, what? This is the only time since we've had this technology that we have ever been able to record the whales like in their natural habitat without the boats. And so they couldn't go to Alaska, but somebody called somebody who called somebody who called somebody. And between probably all this 20 people, they figured out how to rig it up so that they are now listening to the whales for the first time ever without interruption. So all of those things, the fact that I know too much about my neighbors, the fact that good things can come at this time when it's terrible. It's actually so terrible for so many people. And it's frustrating for all of us. But sometimes just being still and looking more closely is a good thing. It reminds me of one of my very favorite Psalms, which is, "Be still and know that I am God." I just love that. So one unexpected gift, I guess, for us is that we do have some time to be still. We do have some time to look more closely. We do have time to learn more about things than we could have otherwise with our overpacked schedules. Oh my goodness. I have never just been able to meander. Walks for